How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another show. This is You Made Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. And today's show, we're going to be doing what is a part or segment to an interview that I started up already. I did part one, of course. This is Magic Johnson and Larry Bird on the David Letterman Late Show. So we'll be checking this out. Before we get into it, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't already that they please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be reminded of future shows. All right. And without holding this up, let's go ahead and dive into this.
So then you go to Los Angeles, you go to Boston relatively in the same time frame, and your careers in the NBA take off, and the rivalry is cemented or begun anew. And then there's somebody says, we're going to sell shoes. We got a Larry Bird shoe and we got a Magic Johnson shoe. Let's get these guys together and we'll shoot a thing. And you did want to do it, didn't want to do it?
Well, I wanted to do it because we won the championship that year and we beat Magic. So
yeah,
I was up for
feeling pretty good. All right.
Good.
Yep. And then
What's crazy is I remember having Larry Bird's Converse. I think it was probably, I'm more than certain, like it was like my first big shoe, if you want to call it that. I think I was in like fifth or sixth grade. And I had on some of those, and everybody else kind of had on something else that wasn't those. but yeah, no, those Birds was my joint, man. I love those Converse too. But yeah, no, I remember the commercial too with those guys. They were going back and forth. I think there was a couple more NBA players that was involved in it, like Isaiah Thomas. I feel like Mark Aguirre was up in there somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I remember this whole Converse campaign. But let's keep it moving.
And then Magic, how did you?
I did not want to go to Indiana. Mm-hmm. They won the championship. I'm going to his home too, mm-hmm. and I protested. I didn't want to go.
Yeah. But the story is that you were reluctant to do it, and you said, "Okay, if you can get Magic."
It's called negotiating, Dave.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I see Bird laugh. This is so fun, man, to see him dude, he was always stone grilled forever, but let's keep it going.
Well, you prevailed because you said, if you can get him here, we'll do it in my backyard on literally your home court, and that's what happened. Now, and he shows up. What was you, when you saw him, were you leery? Were you worried about he's coming into my house, into my yard?
Well, I had my brothers there, and I was going to fight him.
To fight him.
And if I couldn't whip him, surely one of them could.
Yeah.
No, I felt, my mom was pretty good about it. She was all excited. My brothers were excited. They loved Magic. Mm-hmm. The town was excited about having him come in our hometown. And, come from a small town, it's pretty big news.
French Lick.
And they must be from the town over. But he came in and we shot this commercial, had my mom fix lunch, and it was neat. It was mm-hmm. pretty neat.
But that, according to the documentary, that was the beginning of a friendship. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's accurate. We really didn't say too much once I arrived. We actually had never really interacted with each other. So we got to the basketball court. We shot the first half of the commercial. Then it was lunch break. And so I'm going to my trailer thinking I'm going to eat alone and he's going to go. He said, "No, Irvin, come on up. My mom fixed lunch at the house." So I was like, uh-oh. But I said, okay, cool. So we rode up, and Larry has this beautiful, his house is beautiful, great acres and everything. I mean, green grass, it was unbelievable. So we go up to the house, and his mom just greeted me at the door, David, with a big hug. Mm-hmm. And that sort of just calmed me down. I said, wow, I'm getting a mom bird hug like my mother would hug me, Yeah. And so then she told me I was like her favorite player, and I said, okay. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
not our own son, but him. Crazy.
It gets worse and worse.
So now I'm really sitting in the seat now. I'm waiting for lunch now because I feel good. But at the end of the day, what happened was we found out we were much alike. Midwest boys, grew up poor, hardworking families, had the same values. And I got to know Larry, the man, and he got to know Irvin, the man.
Now, did things change for you that day as well?
Yeah, I've always respected my opponents and him greatly because of the fact that he was so good. Everybody always said there's a hate element to it, and there never was a hate. It's just that I had so much respect
It's competition, at its finest point, isn't it?
Yeah, and you never let your guard down. And he was so good. And I was trying to, I used to have this thing in my head in the summer. I go shoot 700 jump shots that day, and I get ready to leave, and I go, God, I know he's shooting 800, and drop me back out there. So it was mind games too, but I always respected him and his teammates, and we had great teams, and it's just unfortunate that we got cheated in a lot of them games in the playoffs.
Cheated.
I love Larry Bird, man. Oh my Jesus.
All right, we'll be right back with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. They were cheated. Thank you, Felicia. This is
And before anybody asks, I have no clue why the only segment 2 version of this had or the one that I was able to find is got what I'm believing is like French subtitles or something like that. I have no clue why that's the case, but and I don't know if it's French. I'm just assuming, but yeah, it looks very Frenchy. But yeah, I have no clue why that is, but at least we can still understand. I can understand, so we'll
I think we were talking about that episode where you guys did the commercial and you had lunch and so forth. I think I remember from the documentary that said that you really liked Irvin. You were less fond of Magic. Is that a correct? And what does that mean?
Well, Irvin the man's one thing, but Irvin the basketball player, I had a little problem with him. It ended, of course, 20 years ago, but there for, God, what? Well, I can't really say what I think, but...
Now, when you hear that about you, that he liked Irvin, didn't like Magic, how do you interpret that? How do you feel about that? You know what he's talking about.
It made me feel good. David, hey, I was a thorn in his side.
Right.
I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be go out there to kick his butt. That's what my job was, and his job was to kick mine. And so I didn't want Larry to like me. He didn't have to like me, but we both respected each other. I knew Larry could beat me if I made mistakes. If we didn't play our best game, Larry made me have sleepless nights. Right? No, he did. He had me because I was scared to death that I knew he could beat me.
Right.
And so that's what a great player does to you that you have to go up against. And not only was he great, the Celtics were great. So, and I was the same way, hopefully, in his mind when he went to sleep, thinking about me. Because I was thinking about him when I went to sleep, that was for sure.
It's, do you...
I mean, I know that they're talking about, from a competitive standpoint, but man, I'm going to bed not thinking about that. But yeah, it's one thing to say that. But if you're in the midst of competition, it does get like that when you're always thinking about that. Especially when you're ultra competitive, like these two, they was that, especially like I know that not Bird, but Magic was like extremely competitive. I knew that, but it felt like it was oozing out of Bird. You know what I mean? Like he was determined to win, wasn't gonna lose. You could see it, smell it, all that, but let's keep it going.
let's forget everything else. Forget the statistics, forget the friendship, how it evolved, the teams. Do you now, in your heart, believe you're the better player?
Whoa, okay.
Actually, I've always said that I go by success, and he's won more championships, so I give him the nod.
Oh, well, being very gentlemanly.
He was better than that. I'm just go ahead and say that. But only by a little bit, because really the only real difference in that game, besides the style of play, you know what I mean? Because both of them could rebound, both of them could rack up assists, Magic a little bit more, you know. But he was the facilitator on his team, so he would have more assists. But Bird could have easily been that. He got triple doubles and all that. Had high assist totals. So really, the only difference was the scoring part of the scoring element of it. And Bird was better at scoring. He had a better shot, all that. You know what I mean? And Magic, he wasn't a refined scorer. He didn't have a jump shot like that. You know what I mean? Even though like he could hit his free throws. That used to be crazy to me. Like Magic stayed like in the 80s and 90s, you know, like something like that as far as percentages with his free throws, but his jump shot was just iffy, you know, for whatever reason. But he could do everything else, you know. So Bird was better. That's all I got to say.
Now, Magic, same question to you. Is Larry the better player?
I've always said that Larry was the better player. You know,
really?
Because he could do more, shoot from the outside, all those type of things.
See?
you know, to us, really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what matters to me is that I played against the best. I got to know the man, Larry Bird. And that we got this friendship right now. Right. That's all that matters, because the fans are going to say, hey, Larry Bird was my man. Just like I run into a lot of Celtic fans. Yeah. You know, I used to hate you.
I get that all the time.
I get that all the time, right? And so, but they say, I hated the Lakers, but why do we love Magic?
Yeah.
You know? And so, but what matters is that we're friends now. We can do so many things together. I still will hate him now. If we play checkers or basketball right now, then both of us are changing to those players that we used to be, because we still want to beat each other.
You think you were the better player, seriously, don't you?
He was the better forward, and I was the better guard.
There you go. That's a perfect way of handling it. Now, tell us, this documentary is, I think, the best sports documentary I've ever seen. And it's not because of anything other than you two gentlemen and who you are, the kind of men you guys are. And one of the points that is very, well, when you have your press conference and announce that you have HIV, the infection, your reaction and your reaction, tell us about your feelings.
Well, my feeling was the first time, you know, I told Lon, my agent, I said, we got to call Larry. And I said, I want to tell him myself. Mm-hmm. And so I want to talk to him. Well, actually, we couldn't get a hold of him. Then Lon told him, and then Larry wanted to talk to me. Right. And so we were able to talk. And the best feeling, David, is when a friend supports you. And this young man came and supported me. That's what it's all about. Forget the sports, forget the championships, right. The MVP. He came to my side and supported me, and I'll never forget that. And that's the type of man Larry Bird is.
It's not. No.
That's dope. That's dope. I love that, man. That was a tragic time for anybody who was around when Magic had to announce to the world that he had HIV. And it's crazy because, you know, given everything we had known up to that point, it was just like, man, we finna lose Magic. You know what I mean? Like, Magic is not gonna be here. And of course, he left the game he came back. He came back to the NBA for a hot second. I remember that, but eventually he'd go ahead and retire earlier than he was supposed to. But still, that legacy was something crazy, and it's great that the medicines and all that he's been taking in order to take care of himself. Magic is still here, and Magic look good. You know what I mean? Like Magic still look like this. You know what I mean? So it's like dang, like the power of medicine and having money, I suppose. Because man, there was a lot of people and that didn't make it, you know. But also probably the case is that they weren't able to catch it in its beginning stages. I immediately off the top of my head, I'm thinking of like Easy E from NWA, and probably the case with him was that they end up finding out about it too late. You know, when Magic's case, they probably caught it in the beginning stages, and you know, some 20 something, however many years it's been since that, he's still here, you know, and looking good. So so that's great. That's great. I love it.
Gladly, it's not the way it was in those days. In those days, if you heard anything having to do with this, it seemed like an immediate death sentence.
Exactly.
And gladly, like I say, medical treatment has progressed where it's not that at all. But
it's funny that like they end up saying the same thing I say afterwards. You know what I mean? And I don't watch these things beforehand. The first time I watch it was with you guys, you know. But yeah, no, exactly what I said.
That's must have been what you were thinking.
Yeah, we always heard 9 years.
Right.
But I remember the day we had a game that night. I always took a nap in the afternoon. My wife woke me up and said, "Hey, Lon Rosen called. You need to call Magic." So when I heard that, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I can remember back my father died, and my heart just sort of, you know, he fluttered a little bit. When I heard about Magic, it's just like I had no energy. I didn't want to. It's the first time I can ever remember not wanting to play basketball, and it had a pit in my stomach for days after. Even after I talked to him, because in my mind, 9 or 10 years, he's going to be gone. And you know, we had the Olympics, you know, down the road. We had things we wanted to accomplish, but it's, man, here he is.
Yeah, happily things didn't work out the way we feared. Now, I mentioned we talk about it in the introduction. Changed the NBA, changed professional basketball. Give us a couple of ideas how the game has changed because of you guys' career.
Well, I think that, you know, the games were tape delayed when Larry and I came into championships. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we beat the 76ers when I was a rookie, the games came on at 11:30 at night. And so to put now the championships in prime time, the salaries that people make, I mean, we affected a lot of the change that is happening. And then Michael Jordan came in right after us and took it to another level as well. And
do you guys see kids playing in the league now? They say, oh, geez, this is the way I would have approached it? Or is that the game has changed so much that your style of play doesn't exist or it can't exist?
Oh, it can exist. I mean, there's not many 6'9" point guards out there.
Yeah.
But I think what I see is there's a lot of kids come out of the league and take it for granted, but there's also a lot of kids come out of the league that want to get better every day, and they do the work necessary to do better and better, and they care about their communities, and they care about their team. I see a lot of that. Mm-hmm. When I first came to the league, I didn't see hardly any of that.
Right.
I think what me and Irvin did when we came in, people started watching basketball again. And our David Stern, which was our commissioner at the time, first year, came in and just took us to another level. Then you got to remember Jordan, Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, John Stockton, all of us sort of came in. They came in a couple years after us. The league got good right away. So we were just happy. We didn't know any of that was going on. We just wanted to play and compete. Right. But in '84, it changed.
Yeah. But also we made passing fashionable again in the NBA.
Well, I think from a fan's standpoint, from a guy from Indiana who grew up loving and watching high school, college basketball and trying to play and so forth, the great legacy that the two of you leave is a demonstration of how to be a guy, just how to be guys, and that's invaluable.
That's dope. I think I could take it a step further than that. You know what I mean? Because he's right about that. But they showed you like what it meant to like play within the system and play the right way. Like that's what Magic and Larry Bird kind of represented to me. At that time. And it's funny because watching them around that time is really my first foray into seeing like the NBA and all that, and so uh, that's all I knew. You know what I mean? Up until like you said, Mike would come and all this, but a lot of those guys from that era, it was just about playing the right way, and then like I guess the gift and the curse of Michael Jordan is that but because you see this dude who's flying all over the place and able to do all these crazy things that even for these guys they wasn't able to do. It kind of morphed into something else. You know what I mean? And it brought almost that the era of the solo star, and the guy who was more about like his stats and all that. It was same like, but yeah, no, it was all about the right way these days.
It's I know what you're thinking at home. You're thinking to yourself, geez, just like David Leno.
That's it. Oh my God, I forget that whole war, that beef between the late night wars. I forgot about that. Leno was my dude, and I loved Dave too. I was a fan and am a fan of both. So that was a funny shot.
Well, I wish you could come back tomorrow and the next night and the next night, but I know you guys got to get to the theater to rehearse your big number. it's Magic Bird at the Longacre Theater. God, what a pleasure to meet you and to see you again, Magic. Good luck with your Dodgers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back with Jim Gaffigan, everybody. Yeah.
This interview has to be like fairly recent or something, because we talking about Magic owning the Dodgers and all that. This is pretty current. But I think that's it. But yeah, that was Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, David Letterman, late night show, part two. That was segment 2 of this. It felt like that was the end of the interview. You know what I mean? Because when I did the first one, it was like segment 1 of 3. So if there is a third one after this, I'll end up doing that to conclude this. But yeah, this was a fun interview to watch. I liked Magic Johnson. I can't even front. Like I wasn't a Lakers guy. It's funny that and now that here and now, like I root for LeBron, but because he's on the Lakers. But I found myself rooting for the Lakers in like current years, and that's kind of weird because even though like I like Magic, I've always been a Bird dude, and I'm a Celtics fan even now to this day. Even when they, like I always consider like the Celtics like my second team, because the Bulls are going to be my first team, of course. But but yeah, no. When Bird and Magic was competing against each other, I was knee deep into the rivalry. You know what I mean? So it was everything was anti-Laker and pro pro Celtic. Excuse me. But then even when the Pistons were like battling with the Lakers, it was like, man, I guess I'm rooting for the Pistons. Which, it didn't seem so bad. You know what I mean? When they were fighting against fighting against Magic and them, going against them, but like only like shortly afterwards, like the Bulls Pistons rivalry was happening, and it's like I can't believe like just prior a year or so ago, I was like kind of rooting for the Pistons, and now I can't stand these mugs because they beating us up so bad. But no, this is fun. This is fun. I love this, and great travel down memory lane and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. Before I do that, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one named Entertainment Reactions. Um, I do have a playlist where it's covering stuff that isn't music related, or it may have sports figures in it, but it's not really it's really not about the sport so much, but yeah, I do have a playlist for that. So entertainment reactions is where you'll end up finding this particular video. But I do have playlists, a ton of them. Most of them are going to be music related, but I do have some other ones, some sports reactions and stuff like that that I've done, and some other stuff. So, oh, excuse me. So check out all that stuff. Kind of gassy right now. I don't know what that's about, but check out all that stuff. The Cash App is on the screen. $ you made Roscoe. PayPal is on the screen at you made at you made Roscoe, and that's for those who would like to show their support or appreciation for the work being done. Don't feel forced to do anything. You don't, that these are merely suggestive. You know what I mean? For those who do want to do it, fine. If you want to, bypass it, that's cool too. But they are on the screen. That's it. That's it. That's all. So I'm gonna get going. I will see you guys again very, very soon. So until next time, everybody be safe and be good.